Hey, you guys, let's have a quick chat. As an embodiment of the soul coach, that's the name of my website, Embodiment of the Soul. So, in the last few years, Spirit has shown me how we need to come to the place of being fully embodied, fully steady, fully into the solidness of the soul being in the body and back to closer to its original self. And that has taken a lot of work. And you call it shadow work. You can call it, dark night of the soul. You can call it, inner learning. You can call it an awakening. You can call it whatever you choose to call it. But it's the removal of layers to the vulnerable, or what you think is vulnerable. Because remember, we put layers of protection on when we feel this vulnerability, like it's fragile. We have to take care of it because it's our divine life source. But in reality, it's stronger than titanium. It's the strongest thing that you got. These layers of protection that have been added over lifetime have been from lessons learned, good, bad, and indifferent, and we carry them forth to the next life. Now you can call that the sinister plan to keep you in the yo-yo units, whatever you want to call it. That doesn't matter. You're here. You're here. So how do I crack some layers open? How do I take the molds that are all over me that no longer serve me? Because inside of those shells, those layers, those mechanisms of protection is this beautiful, strong soul self called the original you, which is where you're merging your twin flame, your higher self, in with this physicality. Yes, you're becoming solid within a oneness of self. So Spirit keeps showing me this splinters and splitting of self. And, it's kind of like that Russian doll thing. There's a little doll inside of another doll, inside of another doll, inside of another doll, inside of another doll. But you're really the big doll, and you've got all these ones inside, but the original one is this tiny little one inside. That's the Mighty Mouse of all of it. It doesn't need protecting. Doesn't need protecting. It actually needs to be cracked wide open, the door open, and let go of all the other layers that don't serve anymore, calling the programs, and learning to relearn things from different perspectives. For about 5 years, I've gone through what I want to call vision changes. It's almost like, when you go to the doctors and they put the thing on there and they flip the lenses and they're like, lens 1 or lens 2. Well, that was going on for me just during the day and the night. And it was like, ooh, okay. And Spirit just said, don't worry, we're reprogramming your sight, not just your physical eyesight, but your energetic, spiritual sight within the brain. So we're reprogramming things. So I was like, okay. Because when I would go to my eye doctor for regular checks, everything was perfectly fine. So I knew that. I had confirmation of that. So I was like, okay, let's go through it. And so even up until probably about a month ago, and when I would go into certain places, buildings, whatever, my eyes would get really blurry. It was like a film would come over them. So I used to fight it. I used to rub my eyes. I used to think, something's wrong with my contacts. What's happening? Maybe I've got a sinus backup. I was making up all these reasons for why it was occurring until one day Spirit said, we're teaching you to see through a different film upon your eyes. So I surrendered to that and I started working with that. And I started kind of finding things blindly because there would be this film that would come over both eyes or one eye. It was just interesting. So I'm in constant communication with the higher self, the twin flame of me that is here And I've been in this solid space pretty much all my life that I'm aware of, but I still have had to let go of some layers, some shielding, some layers of protection, some hard shells to crack open on myself to understand. But I've been doing this for decades, but I'm still going through every once in a while feeling extremely tired or worn down or this or that. And I ask my body, what do you need right now? Sometimes it'll say, run the stairs. Sometimes it'll say, just sit and be still. Sometimes it'll say, go lay down on the moist heating pad. Sometimes it'll say, go for a walk, So I ask myself, what is it that I need? What would best support the splitting of self that I'm going through, the separation of self that I'm going through? Now, when something's not voluntary or you're not consciously aware of it, we have a tendency to resist and to hold on. And what I am saying to you is let go and ride the ride. Be like, okay, I'm feeling like Shiat today. How can I best support myself? And in some cases, the overload of supplements is too much on the body while it's going through what it's going through. That's why, like when you run a fever, you're really not supposed to do much intake. A little bit of water, if you can get it. But you're really just supposed to allow the body to rest and do what it naturally does in order to release the germs, the viruses, or whatever it is that's going through the body. And to let your armies do what it needs to do from within. Now, that's a natural thing to know because we've learned that, right? But that is what is kind of going on with what's happening now. So don't overload with old program stuff. Oh, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. This person says this. Ask yourself. You're going to get this complete merging of self into this one solid, beautiful vehicle that's going to house everything that you need to move forward, right? Old programming is I need money to survive. I need money to pay my bills. Well, we're still in part of that program. But when we don't make it priority and the most important thing, and we make our health and our well-being the most important thing, we're going to get to know thyself faster, and we're going to crack open shells without as much pain. All right? So, I have got to go. I've got to go take care of a 99-year-old man as a companion care, elder care person that I do, and get him some breakfast. So, when I go do things like that, it makes me have so much appreciation for the course of life that I have to live. Because when I get to be that age, I really want to be able to say I did okay. And the most important things to me are time. The time I spend with self, the time I give to others, having my listening ears on. And just being in a place and a space of more love and compassion for just the simple things. Because everything else is just stuff. It's stuff. Okay? If you need any help on this journey, embodimentofthesoul.com. Let's look into the toolbox. Let's see how I can help you move forward, how I can help you sit still, I can help you just do this emerging of self. I've been laughing recently about all this metamorphosis that we're all going through. And we're just getting in that cocoon, and we are just trusting that our eyes will be where they're supposed to be, our arms will be where they're supposed to be, an organ will not wind up on the outside of a leg. We just have to trust, and sit in that trust and really know it, really feel it, that no matter what comes my way, I have the strength, I have the courage, and I will show it through my actions, my strength and my courage to move forward and to be in acceptance of the ever-changing things that we're going through consciously and unconsciously. All right, so much love, you guys. Have a great day.